Hey, this is Kelly coming to you from Paris, and it's kind of dreary out today, so I've been doing a lot of museums instead of obviously walking in the rain. And it seems like a lot of people have had the same idea I have to do museums, so instead of doing some of the big museums that I haven't covered yet, such as the Orsay and Centre Pompidou, I am doing some of my favorite smaller museums. I was just at the Orangerie, which is gorgeous. That's where Manet's water lilies are. And now I'm going to go to the Military Museum, which includes Napoleon's tomb. So, this is the southern entrance of the Military Museum. And this is where Napoleon's tomb is located. So let's go in and take a peek. Napoleon's tomb itself, and every time I see it, it is huge, and it just reminds me that he had a certain complex. It involves being really short, but there's Napoleon complex for you. So I'm just going to span around a little bit and show you some of the church itself. So here is part of the church that it is located in. Very beautiful church here, and here is another tomb for somebody, forget who, but another famous person, and yeah, so there you go. Other side of the circular area where Napoleon's tomb is, and let's actually walk down to the base and see the. So this is Napoleon's tomb from ground level, and you can just see how huge it is. And just scan around, there's like all these from the wall and stuff. So it is a very, very neat. So this is what the Army Museum looks like from the inside, and let's go and look at a few of the exhibits in the Army Museum. Especially one of my favorite one, which is so this is the upstairs of the Army Museum, and I am going to go in here, which is the exhibit on the 2 World Wars. It's an excellent exhibit. If you come to the Army Museum, I would highly recommend this one. There's some other exhibits, but it's like a lot of armor and Middle Age sort of stuff. This is more interesting. They do a good job setting up different causes of the wars, and it's pretty interesting because it's from a French perspective, which is not what Americans are used to. This is inside the exhibit on the 2 World Wars, and this is about World War I and the causes of World War I. From a French perspective, the first cause of World War I really started with France's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War and the humiliation that it caused the French from that. So it's really, the exhibit's really focusing on that and what happened as a result of the Franco-Prussian. So this is part of the exhibit about World War I itself, and this is one of the more interesting objects in the exhibit. A lot of it is like old uniforms and guns and stuff, like what you would think of in an Army museum, but this is one of the taxis from the Battle of the Marne. What happened with the Battle of the Marne is the French were taken by surprise when the Germans started attacking them in World War I. So they had to requisition all these taxis to get all the soldiers up to the Marne so they could defend against the Germans. And this led to the whole stalemate on the Western Front in terms of all the different battlements and trench warfare. So this is one of the taxis. So this is the part of the exhibit dedicated to the Second World War, and it starts with the defeat of France in 1940. And one thing to remember when we're going through this exhibit is it's very, very different from sort of a Band of Brothers, how I think we learn about the Second World War in school. The French would like you to know that the France liberated itself. They didn't have any American help, or that's the official story. So you'll see a lot of that. It's a lot about the resistance and not so much about any American or British. Alright, this is the part of the exhibit about Charles de Gaulle and the Free French forces, what happened after the French surrendered in 1940. De Gaulle actually fled to England and actually did this famous radio broadcast where he vowed to keep fighting. And that was the start of the Free French, who did help somewhat the Americans and the Brits during the later stages of the war. So this next part of the exhibit is about the Battle of Britain in August and September, I want to say 1941, and it includes a little movie in here, and I'm hoping to be able to make it to London because it seems kind of silly to be in Paris and not take the channel up to London, and in that maybe you guys will get to see the Churchill Museum, which is this underground bunkers, and which is very, very. And now here we are, and they're talking about La Resistance, which is obviously very important from the French standpoint. Whenever you're talking about the Second World War, and it's what they like to point to, how they actually, it was the French who freed the French, it wasn't the Americans and the Brits. So here's all the stuff for La Resistance, some transistor radios and stuff, so it's pretty interesting. So here's the part of the exhibit on D-Day, Operation Overlord, which will be interesting to see the French version of D-Day. But obviously, June 6th, 1944, I will be up in Normandy. I've already booked my hotel in early April, so I'm going to hopefully go back and tour the battlefields again. I've already been there, but gorgeous, gorgeous, especially the American cemetery. And up there, you're going to get the American point of view of World War. About the Battle of Normandy, which took place obviously after the D-Day landings ended in August of 1944. And I thought this portion was interesting. A lot of this is like uniforms and stuff, but this is about the Normandy run, and it's all signs. Very, very cool. So this is about the liberation of Paris, and it just includes some stuff concerning the liberation, as well as some very, very famous photos, some movies about liberation on August 26th. So here are some papers commemorating the E-Day. Let me get it a little closer. L'Allemagne capitulate. Germany is going to surrender. So this is a French paper commemorating victory in Europe. So hey, this is Kelly again. That ends my tour of Napoleon's Tomb and Military Museum. I'm very museum out now, so I'm probably going to go do some shopping or walk around or just, sit down and have a soda. But I hope you enjoyed looking at Napoleon's tomb and learning about the French perspective of World War II. Hopefully, I'm definitely going to get the American perspective of World War II when we visit the American cemetery in Normandy, which is completely different from the French. And hopefully, if I end up going to London, which fingers crossed I hope to do, the British perspective. Now, the American perspective is the Americans won World War II. The British perspective is the Brits won World War II. And as you just saw from what I showed you of the French, it's the French perspective that the French won World War II. So